If I look at question 11, I have to tell you, I think it's difficult. And now, if I do this, I want you to see the mistakes I make while doing it, so that you can learn from that. And I want you also to see what I do, because I always teach you. What is it that I always teach you? You must do the question, everything you can do, leave the things you can't do, and then go back. Now let's see if I can get that right, ne? Because I'm always preaching it. Let's see if I can do it. So indicate whether the following statements are true or false. So this you have to get right. The depreciation of tangible assets affects the cash flow. False. We don't pay depreciation to the depreciation factory. There's no depreciation cash. Nothing. The assets are recorded in the original cost into the records of the business. That is true. One asset register should be prepared for all the tangible assets owned by the business. Now, this one, I think, is a question that wasn't questioned well. Ne? Why do I say that? Because, yes, we do one asset register, but it consists of an asset register for this vehicle, an asset register for this vehicle, an asset register for this vehicle. Okay, so you're not going to do one asset register for the total. So I would say this is false. And I want you to write here, you set an asset register for each fixed asset. Ne? You're not just going to do one for the totals. Thank you, my book. Then, the value of land and buildings is depreciated. It's false. We don't depreciate land and buildings. Accumulated depreciation is a negative asset. That is true, ne? Because we plus on the credit side. So, page 32. So here they give me. The following information was extracted from the records of Majoro Traders. My year ends 31st December 2018. The business is owned by brothers Peter and Joe. So they want me to do the fixed asset note. Now if I look at the fixed asset note, here it goes. Firstly, I see, oh, they were so kind. They already put the format for me. Okay. Now, let's see what information can I get that I can still fill in here. So let's see. If I look at vehicles, a vehicle for 90,000 was acquired, meaning bought. So, I have an addition. Okay? Ooh, I forgot to look here at the top. They tell me I have an extract as follows. Can you see the extract from the post-closing trial balance, December 2019, 2017, and my year ends 2018. Okay. Can you see I already made a mistake? Who can tell me what mistake I already made? That's it. When I read this, I didn't read the year. I just assumed this was a new one. But that one is not the new one. It's actually the old one. And can you see nobody died by me scratching out? Okay. Next. Accumulated, question mark. Equipment, 26. So this one isn't given. Accumulated, 72. So if I have that, I can get the carry value, which is what?
18,800.
19.
18. 18,800.
Thank you, baby. 18,800. Okay. Next, the following assets were bought during the year. Vehicles. Ha! They don't tell me. Equipment. I'm going to add the two. 27. But I know there is definitely an addition there, so I must remember to do that. Next. A second-hand vehicle was bought. Okay, they don't give me a number. No vehicles were sold. So I know my asset disposal is 0. I'm just writing it in for myself, so I know I've got that info covered. Then they give me vehicles are depreciated. The balance of the accumulated was 4060. It's already given. Ne? And then they say depreciation has not been calculated. Can you see with this information, it's not a straightforward one, this vehicles, because I need to get the addition, I need to get that depreciation. Before I get that addition, I won't be able to get this guy here. Okay, so now let's go see if equipment is a bit easier. On 31st May, now you know my brain gets very foggy, so I am just going to write for myself, my year is 1st Jan till 31st December, because this will give me a little bit of spacing in my mind. So on the 31st of May, we sold outdated equipment. Cost price 2,400 at a loss of 500. Okay, so I can already say here I've got carry asset disposal 2,400 less, but I don't know what. Okay, so let's finish this because they give me information so I can do this. They say the book value of the old equipment was 840 at the beginning of the current year. Remember what I teach you always is I always say take the cost price of what you sell less the opening balance of the accumulated, ne? Less the pro rata depreciation. Remember I always say that. Now if you look with this information, the book value at the end of the year, it's the answer for that. Does that make sense to you? Can you see they already give me the book value is 840. Can I prove it to you? Yes, because they told me my cost price was 2,400, right? Ne? And now if I minus that 840, I can get the accumulated depreciation. But I don't want that now, unless I'm calculating on the diminishing balance. Ne? But then they already gave me the book value. So let's go look. They say, the book value was 840. We sold it at a loss of 500. So now we need to calculate. We're selling it here, 31st May. So we need to calculate 5 months depreciation. They say equipment is 10% on cost. So they're making my life easy. I'm just going to say 2,400 times what? 10%. How long? 5 months. Answer? 100. Okay. So if I go look at this, I'm not going to use that 2,400. I'm going to use the 840. You all understand why? Ne? Do you understand why? No. I'm going to use the 840 because usually I say to you, take the cost price, less the accumulated depreciation, the opening balance, less the pro rata. Ne? You with me with that? Now, if they tell me, if I say cost price less accumulated depreciation, what does it give me? It gives me the carry value. So they gave me the carry value, and if I just subtract the extra depreciation, I will get the new carry value that goes here. Does that make sense? You sharp now? Okay. So that's why I use the 840. And now the pro rata is 100. So this is going to be 740. Okay. Now let's see. What else are they saying? Equipment bought on credit at the cost price of 25, and additional equipment was purchased for cash on the same day. See info B, they already told you it was 2,000. So it's on the same day. And we can see this here also, it's the same day. Okay. Don't know why they put that there, but maybe it's just to make you confused. I don't know why they want to confuse you. Oh yes, because. So let's go on. At year end, 9,000 was still owed for equipment. Is that got anything to do with my note 3? No. So we ignore that info. Only info I need to calculate depreciation is I want the sold, the new, and the old. Okay. So the sold one I calculated, it's 100. Is that pro rata? Yes. Because it's got nothing to do with it. If I say to you, you have a T account, let's say I bought vehicles, I bought more equipment, 27. So, they say how much so they say we bought 25 on credit and the other 2 was cash. So this will influence my bank, this will influence my creditors control. Now they say to me, we still owe 9,000. Can you see it's my balance for creditors? So it just means up until now, I've already paid 16. So what's the cash outflow? 18. Any of that, any influence on my fixed assets? No, I'm worried about that. You sharp? See, I didn't ask you to do those T accounts. Maybe later they ask me to do the T accounts. But it's not going to have an effect here. Yes? Five marks.
Yeah, 5 months. Okay.
Oh, the 5 months. If I look, can you see my year starts 1st January? I sold it 31st May. January, February, March, April, May. Okay. You always look, when did I have that asset? So you look for that month. Okay. Are we happy? Okay, let's go on. So, what is the new one? Oh, the new one is that 27,000. And the 27,000 at 10%, I had since, when did I buy it? 1st of June. Can you see it's 7 months? June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 7 months. And that gives me
1575.
Okay, so the new is 1575. What is the old? So now let's go look. The old one, I already know, is 26,000. Okay, now what do I know? I know, 26,000. I know I need to go look at the carry value. Now can you see, if I say 26, because it's on cost price method, if I say 26,000 times 10%, it's going to give me 2,600. Is it bigger than the carry value? No. So is the R1 residual value at play? No. So I've now seen the old one is going to be 2,600. Yes.
Why are you saying the 26,000 if you sold an asset? Aren't you minusing the cost price of the sold asset from the 26,000.
Yes, you are more clever than me. I need to take the 26 and subtract the salt acid. What was that? 2,4. Thank you, baby. That gives me, I think, 2,3,600. 10% gives me 2,360. Thank you. You see? Is everybody with me what I did wrong? Yes.
Why is removing 27,000?
Why do you want to make it 26?
I'm just consider it equipment bought on
Okay, look at this here. Can you see here? There's two. We bought one for 25 and one for 2. So that gives me 27. Okay. It's weird. It's a weird piece of information. Okay. But it could be. Maybe I went to buy a printer, which is cheaper than maybe the fax machine or whatever. Not that you do faxes anymore. But yeah. Okay. So is everybody sharp? So what's my total? If I add those three, what do I get?
4035.
Okay. Can you see you most definitely are not just going to write that there. Because can you see I did my calculation on the question paper. And the marker will not see the question paper. So let's say you make the same mistake as I did. The other two is right, that one is wrong. Can you see your total will be wrong? So you're going to lose all your marks. So don't be stupid. Go right down. 100 plus 1575 plus 2360. Because at least you can get those two ticks if you had that one wrong. And then you'll get a bagel there. Then you get 3 out of 4 or 3 out of 5. Okay. So, now I can finish this because if I block on top, I say 27 less 740 less 4035 gives me 22. Okay. So, 188 plus 222225 gives me what? 5.
41025.
Less 50 gives me
9575.
okay. So equipment was better. So we can finish equipment. Now you go on with your paper. You do not go on here. Right? Let's just quickly see, was there other questions? Yes, there was. They say Peter Majoro is not happy that his brother Joe Majoro purchased the old equipment at an amount below the carry value from the business. Why? Provide one reason why he had to be unhappy about this transaction and provide calculations or figures to motivate your answer. Phantom. So let's go on. Can you see this question has got two parts? You have to give a reason and figures. Okay? So don't make it too difficult. Let's quickly look. What do they say about the selling? They say here the book value was 840 and we made a loss of 500. Okay? So what are we going to say? Firstly, you're going to say the business made a loss of 500 rand. Did you cover the reason? Yes. Did you cover the figure? Yes. Can you see you don't have to go into all the ethical things here. They just want to know, why are you unhappy? We made a loss. How much is the loss? 500. Can you see some things are not necessarily difficult? Okay? Is there any other question? Note indicate the workings in the section provided in your answer book, and that means they want us to work here on there. Okay, so now we've gone through everything, we've gone through the rest of the paper, then we come back, and now we're going to have, now whatever time is left, wonderful, we can spend that now on the vehicles, because because this is so interesting for us to try and figure out this puzzle, that you're going to waste all your time on this. Okay, don't waste your time on this. So now let's see, how are we going to sort this out? So the first thing I want to do is I just quickly want to see, is there maybe something that I can use? So I know this less this will give me that. Okay. I don't have either one. If I had that one, I could also calculate this one. Can you see I don't have that? The depreciation. How am I going to calculate depreciation? I don't know, because I don't know what's that additional one. Okay? But what do I know about the depreciation? I know it's only an old vehicle and a new one. Right? That's all. There isn't a sold one. I also know if I could get that one and that one, I can get that one, which means I can get that one. Can you see all the different things I can have? So now let's see if maybe the way they give us the answer might help us. So they say here, I must calculate depreciation for the old vehicle. So let's go look. What is the depreciation on old vehicles, or any vehicles? They say vehicles is depreciated 20% on the carry value. Can I calculate that? How? I don't have the accumulator. Can you see I can't calculate the old vehicle? Is there a way for me to get that? Tell me how. Yeah. There's lots of noise, ne? Let me just break. They actually gave me the date when I bought the old car. Right. So, I know my year starts 1st of Jan. But now I bought this car 30 June 2016. So my first year would end 31st December 2016. Right? That car was 90,000. The percentage is 20%. 6 months gives me 9,000. What's the carry value now? 82. So 81 times 20%, that would be the 1st of Jan till 31st of December 2017. So now that gives me, okay, my year ends 31st December 2018, you see. So now I say, okay, what's the carry value now? You can either say 90 less, or you can say 81 less, and that gives me 60 on the dot, 800. 20%, that gives me 12. Like that. Okay. So, there's my depreciation for the old one. You see? What is my accumulated for the old one? It's all three of those together. Eh? Ah, you see? You only take the first two. So what's the first two? It's going to be 25,200. And this depreciation here, I already know it's 12,960 plus the new one. Can you guys start to see how we get to this thing there. Okay. I will continue tomorrow.